This time we will introduce you to this one. Pokemon that works together with humans. Helping, cooperating, master and servant, Pokemon and humans have many kinds of relationships. Some are hostile to humans, while others choose to live together. Although it is not often mentioned in the main story, this kind of place gives us a better understanding of the vastness of the Pokemon world. Let's take a look at Pokemon that live in harmony with humans, from those that come to mind quickly to those that you may have forgotten about. First is this job, the police. Working with the police is Growlithe. Growlithe are often depicted working with the police. Probably the model is a police dog visually. In the game, the officer owns it in battle. It is perhaps just the right partner for patrolling. And speaking of the police, let's not forget about her, Officer Jenny. She often carries Growlithe with her. In the 54th episode of the first anime, we could see Growlithe in training as a police dog. It seems that they are being trained by an organization just like in reality. In addition to Growlithe, Officer Jenny has Arcanine, Swanna, Pidgeot, and Chatot. They tend to use Pokemon that are easy to obtain depending on the region, mainly based on Growlithe. In this sense, it may be the Pokemon most familiar to human society. Along with games and animations, we are likely to see more of this Pokemon from now on. Next job is this. Nurse. Working in the medical field is this guy. That's right, Chansey. If you've played Pokemon for a while, you're probably familiar with them. In the game, she has been working at the Pokemon Center since the first version, and some players may have wanted to catch one. While they may make you think that their main job is first aid work using their special technique, Soft-Boiled, they actually move in all directions. In the anime, they performed a variety of jobs from handling medical equipment to physical labor. They always have a smile on face and seem to be more competent than humans. However, it would be difficult for a Pokemon to provide detailed medical treatment. She is called Nurse Joy, but likely the category is doctor rather than nurse, and Chansey can only act as an assistant. Incidentally, there are a surprising number of Pokemon that work as these nurses, and we can confirm that Blissey, Adino, and even Indeedee have recently been working. What they all have in common is the use of recovery techniques. Perhaps this is a working requirement in the medical field. If they had a technical machine for recovery techniques, they would have no trouble finding work. When the recession hits, Chansey may be overhunted and forced to work. After police and hospitals, this job is next. Firefighters. And working here is this Pokemon. Yes, it is Squirtle. Squirtle played an active role in the firefighting team in the anime. In the anime, Squirtle puts out a forest fire caused by Team Rocket and is recognized by Officer Jenny as the town's firefighting team. Some anime fans may have missed the sunglasses. There are other such Pokemon fire brigades in the Pokemon world, such as Wartortle, Blastoise, and Vaporeon. In the real world, when a fire breaks out, the usual response is to wait for the fire trucks, but sometimes it is difficult to reach the scene of the fire due to narrow roads or obstacles. In such situations, however, a platoon of small, maneuverable water Pokemon would be a great help. If you don't have mobility on land, it would be much more efficient to cooperate with a Pokemon for foot such as Growlithe or Arcanine. In that light, the Pokemon world may be more advanced than ours. By the way, although Squirtle Fire Brigade story is about 20 years ago, recently, its existence has been confirmed in Pokemon Go. Next job is this. This is a lifeguard. They rescue and monitor people who are drowning in the water. And the guy involved in this job is this. Floatzel. Actually, you can see it clearly in Pokédex. Floatzel is a Pokemon that helps rescue drowning people. The scarf-like item around Floatzel's neck is actually a flotation bag. By inflating it, Floatzel can float like a sea otter. Pokédex also says it can double as a rubber raft. It is small and can go on land, so it may be more suitable than Lapras, for example. This setting is not often seen in anime and games, but it is actually used in Pokemon cards. The rescue and water acceleration techniques are likely derived from their water rescue capabilities. Pokédex also says that they live in a fishing town and carry their catch, so they seem to be quite familiar with human society. It seems to be a Pokemon that fishermen would want to have on their boats. This is the next job in the rescue-related field. Mountain Rescue. The Pokemon doing this job are this. It is Stoutland. You may not have such impression, but there is a description of mountain rescue in Pokédex. It is clearly stated that it rescues people stranded by blizzards in the mountains. It seems that mountain rescue is especially active in the snowy mountains in winter. In a blizzard, one would think that an ice type would be more suitable, but it is important to bring them back after they reach the scene. In this sense, Stoutland, with its warm body hair, is perfect for mountain rescue. Also, since Sunny Day can be used, the ability to temporarily change the weather may be intended for a mountain rescue setting. Incidentally, Pokédex also says this. It's a trustworthy partner on rescue teams. They are like Growlithe to the rescuers. In real life, there are mountain rescue dogs like the Saint Bernard, which may be the very model for Stoutland. Next job is this. Postman. The guy who does this job is this. Tranquil. It seems that delivery men often choose them as partners. The main mailman is a human, but Tranquil is used to support him. Tranquil is used to support the delivery person by acting like a car navigation system. According to Tranquil's Pokédex, it can return to its trainer's location regardless of the distance separating them. It is the so-called homing instinct. It is thought that this is so that it does not get lost in the vast Pokémon world. Also, this Pokémon is also active in the delivery crew. Dragonite. Dragonite seems to work directly as a delivery person. It can fly, is fast and strong, and is quite suitable for the job. You might think, why don't we just leave everything to Dragonite? But there is the issue of cost performance. Mass production of Dragonite would require too much time and manpower, so it may be more efficient to leave some of the work to a combination of human and Tranquil. On the other hand, delivery to remote islands would be more suitable for Dragonite. Personally, I am interested in how Dragonite gets paid. Next job is this. Cab driver, or rather the cab itself. Corviknight. The Corviknight becomes a cab and flies in the sky holding the carrier. The driver may give directions while riding in the Corviknight. As mentioned in Pokédex, it has excellent flying ability and is very smart, so it is used as a cab in the sky in the Galar region. There is little risk of them running off on their own. In fact, it is not a privately operated cab, but a public transportation service of Galar Transportation, and there is no fee to use it. By the way, did you know that flying cabs are not only a Pokémon world, but also a reality? In Korea, they are developing it with the aim of realizing it in 2025. But it takes up a lot of space, so the Corviknight is more convenient. On the other hand, there are also regular cabs in the Pokémon world. This one requires a $5 fee for the first ride, so probably it is privately operated, not publicly operated. And if you don't have enough money when you pay, they will challenge you to a battle. In this world, it seems that there are no violent incidents against drivers. Next job is this. This is a lighthouse keeper. Literally, it is a job to watch the surroundings at a lighthouse to see if there are any abnormalities. Working there is this Pokémon. Ampharos. In the Pokémon Gold and Silver version, it works at the lighthouse in Olivine City, illuminating the sea with its own light. In other words, it is a lighthouse itself rather than a lighthouse keeper. But when you are lighting up night after night, it seems like pretty hard working conditions. There are many questions such as how much they are paid, whether they have days off, and whether there are any Pokémon to take their place. Incidentally, the job of lighthouse keeper existed in Japan until 2006. The last one was called Onijima Lighthouse, but it is now unmanned and automated. In the Pokémon world, where science is more advanced than reality, the lighthouse in Olivine City may soon be automated. Next job is this. Virus software. Pokémon is virus software? You may be thinking. The one who is doing this job is this guy, Porygon. It is not well known that Porygon can sew, but Pokédex states that Porygon is capable of reverting itself entirely back to program data and entering cyberspace. In other words, they can enter any computer. Once in the electronic space, it would work based on human commands. Have you ever seen such a picture drawn? You may be better off not having seen it. Famously known as Porygon Shock, the animated episode in which it was aired has been banned from the airwaves. But Porygon has other jobs, and has recently tried to take on a role in spaceflight. According to Pokédex, the only Pokémon people anticipate can fly into space. None has managed the feat yet, however. It will probably do some programming work inside rockets and satellites. For Porygon, which doesn't even breathe, this is a pretty good fit. As for the phrase none has managed the feat yet, however, I wonder if the launch failed or if it failed to adapt to space. Either way, the safety of Porygon is a concern. However, in the Pokemon XY version, it managed to launch successfully. It is now working daily as a satellite. More than 15 years after the first version, it has finally fulfilled its original role. Porygon that does work that no one else can do, such as virus software programs and artificial satellites. I hope that Porygon will get over the Porygon shock and one day be given a proper reputation. Next job is this. A construction site. Working with sweat and toil in what is called manual labor is Machop. In the first version, Machop was also working in Orania City, leveling the ground. The Machop clan is deeply associated with human society in addition to this, and they can also move house without difficulty. In the Ruby Sapphire version of the game, you will see the Machokes working in the house from the moment the game starts. With their stature, they will be much more efficient than humans. Officially, this moving process has been adopted and a commercial for the moving company is available on YouTube. I wonder how much they are paid per month. And Machamp is active in even more sites with his 4 arms. They work as gym trainers, construction workers, and bodyguards. Conkeldurr also seems to be working, but it seems that the Machop family is strong in the physical labor field. At this rate, it would not be surprising if a staffing agency is born. This is the next job. Another nurse? You might be thinking, it is true that this job is to support the doctor, so the job category is nurse or nursing assistant. This is the guy who is doing such a job. Hypno. Hypno was called a pervert and a pedophile in the description of the first Pokédex game, but 20 years later, his position has changed. The Ultra Moon version of Pokédex says, there are some Hypno that assist doctors with patients who can't sleep at night in hospitals. Instead of abusing hypnosis, which is their specialty, they are now using it to help people. Since they work for people who cannot sleep, their place of work is probably psychiatry or psychosomatic medicine. This may have happened because they have been misused too much by bad trainers because of the image Pokédex has had in the past. While some Pokemon, like Hypno, have gone on to great jobs, others have gone down the wrong path. Malamar. Pokédex says that when it comes to strong hypnosis, there's an endless number of people who utilize Malamar for their nefarious deeds, and it's said that Malamar's hypnotic powers played a role in certain history-changing events, which shows how it has been badly used by humans. It does not specifically mention what it was used for, but it seems to have been a considerable case. Some of the biggest religious and political wars may in fact have involved Malamar. I hope they will find a way to use it for the benefit of people, just like Hypno. The last one is this job. Sheepdogs. And this is the one doing the job. Electric-type Pokemon Yamper. As shown in the game where it chases Wooloo around, it is exactly working as a sheepdog. In the Galar region, he is popular as a sheepdog and is a gourmand who helps people with their work by latching onto treats. The corgi that Yamper is modeled after is also a sheepdog. Like the model, he is short-legged and long-bodied, but he does his job well. In addition, the corgi is the national dog of the United Kingdom, and the model for the Galar region is also British, so it is clear that the setting is very close to reality. They are also in charge of guiding people on the way in the game. It is depicted in many ways similar to a real dog, and is probably helping humans in many other ways as well. So far we have introduced you to working Pokemon. You have seen that they are very coexistent with people, ranging from civil servants to virus software. If you know of any other Pokemon that do this kind of work, please let us know in the comments. See you next time.